Alex, an author of a blog post that explains why being a man in a world that frowns on raping women is like being born a round peg in a society full of square holes. Oh, dear Scotty, I hope you will forgive me if I suggest that men have more control over their appendages than a jack-in-the-box over his eruption. You write that the natural instincts of men are shameful and criminal, while those of women are mostly legal and acceptable, a stirring reminder that we live in a matriarchy, where our textbooks detail what women accomplished across the ages, and then pin on a paragraph about the fact that men can tend to kind of cool around them too, I guess. Where we slide men into quotas, hoping they'll quit complaining about the clear crystal carpeting, where we end our prayers in the name of the Mother, the Daughter, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Scotty, because I believe your metaphor is trying to say that the round peg is a penis and a square hole has something to do with what you imagine a vagina looks like, I'm slightly unnerved by your claim that society offers men an endless array of square holes. Like a buffet laid out before them where they can eat their fill for $7.25 and then leave their half-ravished plates scattered across the table for someone else to clean up because they are too full for more, but good God, are they satisfied. Dear Scotty, let's talk about sex. Not the kind that's like rape, only without the hassle of having to convince yourself she really wants it, but the kind that your parents asked the doctor about when they were pregnant with you. You call our society a zero-sum game where if men get everything they want, women lose, marking a dark divide between male and female that only exists because people like you keep drawing it. If boys were born one thing and girls another, we wouldn't have to police them with pink and blue crayons. We wouldn't have to line them up on the first day of kindergarten to use separate bathrooms, two parallel rows that will never intersect. Dear Scotty, I want to tell you a story. In Maori mythology, Hine is the goddess of night and death. Maui, a delinquent demigod, sought everlasting life, looking for it between her legs while she slept, believing he could crawl inside her most sacred space, traverse her entrails, and climb out of her mouth the morning. Now he could barely make progress in his penetration when one of his watching friends laughed, waking their eyes. In some stories, Hine clamps down the obsidian incisors within her and gnashes Maui to pieces she could pry out with a toothpick sometimes. She simply shuts herself, feeling things up. The first time I heard this story, I thought, if only we could clothe ourselves. The second time, I wondered why he didn't think to knock. This was the first rape joke. Dear Scotty, if all the men you know are inherently incapable of realizing that an urge is not a man-made an urge, is not an excuse, an urge is not the slugs and snails and puppy dogs' tails, and